What will be, will be.
What is this?
Evil Dead Rise is the newest film from short filmmaker and director of The Hole in the Ground, Lee Cronin. Cronin, the youngest of 3 children, grew up in a house of horror. Early films like The Shining and the Evil Dead films inspired him to create the kinds of films which would impress his family. Now, as to the question of whether or not he succeeds, is up to your preference regarding this franchise. I love this movie. I had a great time from start to finish, but if you're after the humor and slapstick of the Raimi films, then you may be disappointed. Evil Dead Rise does have a sense of humor, sick and demented, and offers the gross, shocking moments the films are known for. Put simply, Evil Dead Rise is a bloody romp with beautiful visuals, impressive effects, and a real passion for horror.
Evil Dead Rise.
Lee Cronin, born in Dublin, Ireland, first received attention for his short film Through the Night. It's a pretty impressive short from a first-timer. Features some competent camera work, acting, and directing. It was a pretty good indication of what his future was going to hold. In 2013, Cronin also received the Méliès d'Argent for Best European Fantastic Short Film for his short Ghost Train. The film, shown now, shows off Cronin's growth as a filmmaker, with more stylistic cinematography, cleaner pacing, and is also imbued with a well-earned sense of malaise and tension that blossoms in Evil Dead Rise. I also previously mentioned The Hole in the Ground, which also won Cronin the Saturn Award at 2019's Sundance Film Festival for Breakthrough Director. All right, so now for the plot and the acting. These are the 2 portions that are the most important to me whenever I go into a film, particularly a horror film. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit looser with this version. The most standout performance here is Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie. She absolutely kills it as the Deadite version of herself. Really nails the back and forth from when the Deadite is using her normal voice and then to the very sadistic, dark, gross out version of herself. I think Alyssa Sutherland is probably the best Deadite in any of these movies. Morgan Davies, Gabriel Eccles, and Nell Fisher are fantastic as the 3 kids, Bridget, Danny, and Cassie. Particularly the youngest one impressed me, and also Bridget, Gabriel Eccles' character. When they become Deadites, the 2 older kids, they are just absolutely fantastic. They deliver some, spine-tingling, gross-out performances. As for the plot of the film, through standard Evil Dead fare, the kids find one of the books of the dead, this being the 3rd, the other 2 being the Sam Raimi franchise and the 2013 remake. They find the book in a vault underneath their apartment, which is a converted bank. So this is where the book comes from. It belonged to sort of a cult organization that was trying to translate and figure out what the book does. One of the things I really liked about the plot of this is more often than not what frustrates me, and this frustrates me in the Evil Dead 2013 film as well, which is what makes a person want to read out these words, right? Like, what is forcing them to do this other than sheer curiosity? It's something that has always frustrated me. So when the character of Danny simply takes these vinyl pressed records that have the words that are used to summon the Book of the Dead, it makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more accidental. And even though, I don't know, some people might be frustrated by that because it doesn't fit into sort of the horror ideology of characters have to earn their sin. This is a movie franchise that really loves to come down on the unfortunate. This is a bad luck franchise where people get into the worst possible situations they can through sheer luck. And so I think it fits really well into the sort of accidental hellscape they fit themselves into. 5 people trapped in a small environment. There are other characters. It's pretty obvious that they didn't film on location because every other actor that's not the main cast is trying very hard to hide an accent that I can't quite place, but is a little bit distracting. In this movie, though, it's not that big a deal. You're here for horror. You're here for gross out. And if that's what you are here for, the movie delivers. Again, Alyssa Sutherland carries this movie from beginning to end. She is just delightful. And at the end of the film, when the Deadites all collaborate into one sort of Rat King Deadite, is one of the most bloody, intense, and gross out moments of the entire film. Honestly, all around, I found the whole thing really engaging. I found it, there were several moments that had me laughing out loud in the theater, which I don't often do. There were several moments that had me grossed out, really like not scared, because the one thing that I would say against this film is that it's not scary. There's no moment really in the film where there's a surprise or any sort of real tension. It's pretty obvious where this film is going. It's pretty obvious what's about to happen at pretty much every twist and turn. But again, the performances from the mother, the children, all really deliver. The sister character of Beth is okay. Lily Sullivan does her best, but it's not a well-written character. It's really only there to fit the theme of maturation and the acceptance of responsibility, since her character is pregnant and by the end of the film has to take on the responsibility of caring for her youngest niece. As for just some final thoughts on the film, the cinematography done by Dave Garbett is pretty fantastic, especially considering he doesn't have a extensive history with horror film cinematography. He has done largely short films and also just random episodes of television, which is some pretty standard fare. The one most impressive thing about this movie, and I know that Mike and Jay from Red Letter Media had talked about this in their review as well, is that the visual effects are so wonderfully and gracefully done. There are portions of this movie where I was asking myself, is this actor really like bleeding right now? I'd spoken about the eldest daughter's character, Bridget. When she becomes a deadite, there's the scene where she's eating a wine glass and swallowing it, and the glass pokes out of her throat in just this beautiful way. She also, as she is getting infected, possessed by the deadite, she starts to bleed from the nose and mouth and eyes in such a believable way that the practical effects, CGI, whatever it is just so beautiful. It's really, really well done, and I hope whoever the visual effects team was for this gets to do amazing things for the rest of their career. All around, wonderful movie. Had a great time. This is one to definitely see in theaters with some friends if you're looking to have some laughs afterwards, talk about how gross certain portions of this movie were. And honestly, given what it is and given the fact that it's an Evil Dead movie, I think it nails it, and I would give this a 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. I've been Zach, you've been you, and this has been Evil Dead Rise. It would help me a lot if you hit the like button, subscribe for more film reviews, and share with your fellow film buffs. See ya, Space Cowboy.